So what's your first name?
My name's Ash.
Ash, what needs fixing, Ash?
Basically, I damaged my cruciate ligament here about 3 years ago, and I build it up, and then every sort of several months something happens and it goes again.
All right, okay.
And then also about 4 weeks ago I damaged my medial ligament here.
Right.
And this knee is a bit hurts when I push it forward.
Right, okay, so we'll fix this knee, we'll get this knee really, really good, so then you notice that one more, and then we'll fix that one as well.
Also, just in all that, emotionally, several months ago I went through a bit of emotional trauma. All this seemed to get worse around then.
Right.
And it just left me feeling a bit, low, sort of depression, kind of anxiety, not feeling safe kind of thing. So I don't know if that's important.
Okay, yeah. So every different tissues in your body process different feelings. And to a scientist watching this, probably laugh at me saying that, but when we feel love, where do we feel it? In here. And when you feel fear or anger, where would you feel it? Probably in your tummy, yeah. So different parts, different tissues process different feelings. If you're shouldering responsibilities, very often, shouldering a burden, your posture is different because you've got this weight of the world on your shoulders. Now, legs is about standing up for ourselves. Yeah. So any problems with legs is about standing up for ourselves. The knees, in particular, are about being flexible. Yeah. So. The right knee is more to do with the future, the left knee is to do with the past. So it could be that in that emotional time you were trying to stand up for yourself, trying to express your point of view, and energy was locked in. That makes sense?
Yeah.
All right. So this is my expertise in the area of relationships. Right. Bear in mind my husband is in the room with me. I'm just going to share some relationship advice that I got from an 80-year-old in New Zealand. He was 80 years of age, this chap, and he'd been happily married twice. He had successful marriages. So I couldn't resist but ask him, David, what is the secret of a successful marriage? He says, it's really simple. You know what your wife likes, you do it. You know what your wife doesn't like, don't do it. And if you are going to argue, take off all your clothes first. Now that is not bad advice, is it? Okay? It worked for him. Now my own experience in relationship, not just one-to-one with my partner, but with sisters, with friends and so on, is this. It's all about the communication. And the communication isn't just about what's said, it's about the energy that flows between the two people. And if you're in your head judging something or criticising something, as much as you might not say anything, the other person picks that up, all right? And you felt criticised, yeah? Judged, all right? Well, that's their issue. It's nothing to do with you, that's them in their heads, all right? Yeah? So the secret for me with relationships is to say how I feel, but without making the other person wrong. Yeah, so if I can say how I feel, but without making the other person wrong, they can hear that because I'm talking my feelings. But as soon as I say, it's your fault that I don't feel loved, they're going to argue back because it's not their fault. But if I say I'm not feeling loved, that's fine, because that's me expressing my feelings, as long as I don't blame them for how I feel. Now the bottom line here is, Ash, you don't like to be criticised.
Yep, you're right.
It's a simple thing, but hands up if you like being criticised. We don't, do we? We don't like being criticised. And so it's not a nice energy, isn't it? But with our first experience of that, it can happen in the home, but it can also happen at school. Yeah? I personally believe that feedback is really, really good. It's good to get feedback. Like, when one of these healings doesn't work, I learn more out of that than the 99 that do. Because afterwards I'll think, what was different? What was it, something with the person? Was it something with the energy? Was it something out of my team? Did I just get tired? Was I in the wrong mental? I start asking myself questions. Yeah? So those of you that have been having difficult relationships, don't stress. You've been learning. You've been reflecting on, why did I meet another one of those? Yeah? Was it something I did? But, so there's learning. Whatever happens in life, guys, there's learning, there's learning, there's learning. And usually when things aren't going like we'd like, right, just give that a try now, Ash, that thing. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't do that before. When I lock it, it's like this is where there's pain down these sides.
Yep.
That's where it seemed to keep collapsing. I remember telling the consultant beforehand, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, it's all to do with just one ligament, just dismiss me."
Yeah.
As they do.
As they do, as they do.
So
Cool.
he wasn't.
But we are the experts, they're our bodies. We are the experts, they're our bodies. Okay. So, in metaphysical terms, what that means is part of you has got used to standing up for yourself in the light of criticism. Yeah, it's almost like this little scaffolding you've put in here to defend yourself if somebody criticises. Now, the very best way to defend yourself from criticism is this. Yeah, to move away. You know, if you're around people, whether it's bosses, work colleagues, family members that criticise and judge you constantly, go somewhere else. Yeah? Don't try and psychically protect yourself from their judgment and their criticism, because that's where they are. They're doing that. Yeah? You just get out of their way. Get out of their way. Okay. Now, of course, Ash, the one that criticises you more than anybody, of course, is you in your own head. And that will be true for many others in the room as well. So what happened was between the ages of 0 and 7, our subconscious mind got programmed by our parents and other people that we got exposed to, which would include teachers usually, because most kids start school at 5. And so that habit of judging and criticising you, you've got a little voice in here now that does that. All right, now 0 to 7, the brain is in what's called theta state. It's like a mild hypnotic trance. And children are like sponges, they take it all on. Now, my programming was brilliant. Mum told me I was wonderful. Grandma thought the sun, moon and stars shone out of my backside. You know, I had so much positive conditioning as a kid, but many people don't get that. They get a judgment here, a criticism, yeah? I grew up the eldest. So eldest in my family meant I was 2 before my sister came along. I was 4 before my brother came along. I could run the fastest. I was the smartest at school, and I was physically the strongest. So my sense of self was higher than my sisters or my brothers, because I was older. Yeah? Yes, so those of you that are older, I also was responsible for a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old at the age of 6, which was not so good. So your subconscious has been programmed between the ages of 0 and 7, and it's why there's a saying, I think it was Aristotle that said, give me a child until the age of 7 and I will show you the man. And one of the churches picked that up as well as their saying. It's true. Now, if you want to change your life, one of the things you want to do is reprogram yourself on a theta level. And I'm doing a little experiment. When I learned about theta state, I decided to create some words that I could play to myself in theta state. So in theta state, you go there just as you're going off to sleep. So each night you've got an opportunity to reprogram yourself. And so I've done some very low cost, as in £1 a time, theta things you can put onto your phones, and you can play to yourself and for health, well-being, abundance. Yeah, and reprogram theta. All right, but yours is about believing you. All right, now if I said to you, why did God put you on this earth? What's the answer to that?
To follow my joy and do the best I can.
Cool. All right, I'm going to change it very, very slightly, okay? To follow your joy and be you. You don't have to do the best you can. That's conditioning.
Yeah.
See how much better it feels knowing all you've got to do is be you. Follow your joy and be you. You don't have to be the best you can be, guys. The strain and the struggle there, you can choose that as a choice. But imagine trying to always be the best you can be in every situation. That's going to be too much, isn't it? Yeah? Just be you. Being you is enough. I am enough. I am enough.
I am enough.
I am enough. Right, now try that knee out again.
There's not as much pain. There's a bit of pain still there,
Yeah?
but I can block it. I was just...
Cool. Then have a seat there. And you mentioned that one as well,
Yeah,
when you
this
press
one,
it, there's
when
pain.
when I push forward on it,
Yeah.
there's a bit of pain on here, like something's worn away.
All right, cool. Let's come around that side.
If you can get me playing back football next week, I'll be well.
Excellent.
So,
That's a good goal to have, isn't it?
yeah.
Right, so basically, guys, we've got a body and we've got thoughts in our head, we've got feelings in our body. Feelings are chemicals that are triggered by thoughts, and all that's supposed to happen is we have a thought and there is an immediate chemical response in our body. Sometimes it feels good. That means the thought was good for us. Keep it. But if the reaction within you isn't good, it means let go of the thought. Yeah, if your thoughts are not making you feel good, get rid of them. Well, it's like weeding a garden, guys. Yeah, if your thoughts don't make you feel good, get rid of them. Who's to say they're true? Who's to say what is true in this reality, really? Think about it. Oh. We're living in this really weird world. I often think, if aliens landed, if the aliens landed and they looked at what we're doing here, they'd think, we're bonkers. We are bonkers. We're spraying our food that we're going to eat with nasty chemicals. We're injecting our babies with nasty chemicals. Yet we're all working like rats on a wheel to pay bills with this debt. I mean, what a thing to create debt. Ugh. We don't need that, do we? Yeah, we think we live in a democracy. It's like a club. I often wonder, like, when did I agree to pay tax? I can't remember ever agreeing to pay tax. I can't remember somebody saying, look, you're going to be an adult, will you now agree to pay? I don't remember that ever happening. I don't remember my parents or my grandparents talking about a time in human history where we all agreed to pay tax. Am I missing something? But it's almost like we're in this club, this membership club of planet Earth, and somebody else has set the rules, and we're just blindly going along with these rules. And we're heading to this edge of this bloody cliff because the population of the Earth is growing faster than the Earth can sustain it, and we're damaging the environment as we go. Every species. Like, just imagine, guys, how are you going to feel when the polar bear is extinct? I could just cry about that one. And we've already lost so many species. We've got to wake up. We've got to wake up big time. Yeah? But our media is a joke. Media is an absolute bloody joke. Right, just try moving that again, Ash. See how that's feeling.
It feels really cold when you're doing that.
Yeah. Working with bone when it feels cold.
There's normally pain there. It feels a bit unstable, but there's
No pain
not
there
much
now.
pain, but there's pain around. It's like both sides. There's pain around the stability of those two.
Yeah.
knees.
So the right one is to do with the future, the left one's to do with the past. So this is all about you standing up for yourself. But standing up for yourself, it's not about standing up for the ego. It's not standing up for who in your mind you think you are, the story that you've told yourself about this lifetime. The real you is, for all of us, it's actually very, very simple. The real us, if we can let go of all the stories and just be here in this moment, we start to glimpse who we are. And we glimpse ourselves as like a feeling essence. There's like a feeling essence. And the more we can connect with the essence of who we are, the simpler then our life becomes. But the more we build an ego, the more we build an elaborate story for ourselves about who we are and what we're all about, the more we then create structures which then require energy and money to keep it all in place. And it's like this big deck of cards that's going to fall down. It's going to fall down for us individually, and it's going to fall down for the human species collectively, because the way we are living now is not sustainable. It's not sustainable, yeah? But what's going to come out of it is a much better way of living. Yeah? Where we've all got time to be with our loved ones and look after our older people and raise the kids. Yeah, to me it's crazy that a baby is born and a kid goes into daycare. I mean, really? If they told us that was going to happen a few years ago, we'd said, no, that'll never happen. Yeah, but it's happened slowly, yeah. I don't know what it's like here because I've not done the investigation yet, but over in New Zealand, we're looking down the barrel of compulsory vaccinations, and they give 36 vaccines by the age of 4. In America, it's 73 and 2 in utero.
And they're trying to
What the
work that
hell
through
is that
here,
about?
but not there yet.
36 by the time they are 4. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can feel something emotionally lifting with this.
Yeah.
So I've had
It's
like this
all-
block of like my infusion and kind of gone,
Yeah,
and I can feel something.
it's going.
Yeah, I
It's
can
going.
feel like almost like a cloud lifting.
Yeah. Right. If you can rest this next sentence, it will change your life, okay? We can neither add to nor diminish the real us. The real you that you are is who you've always been, and nothing can add to you. No degrees, no awards, no Queen's Award, no knighthood can add to who you truly are. Nor can anything diminish who you truly are. All right, so there's nothing you can experience here that will be so shameful, so terrible, it can diminish who you are. But there's also nothing can add to you. Yeah? It's all stories, guys. You've been conditioned to tell yourself a story in your head about who you are and how society is. It's all stories. And those stories are going to fall away. And one of the biggest deceptions has been money. Little story from my life. So along my journey, I started work for a bank at 16. I then did my banking exams. First class in accountancy. The teacher gave us all a set of accounts, and he taught us about assets, liabilities, the balance sheet, and we were all sent away with our homework to look at a particular set of accounts and come back with the answer to a question: would we lend them money, and how much would we lend them? And we went around the whole class, probably 20 kids in the class, 20, we were 18, I guess. Now, just give that a try, Ash.
Probably like, I think it was like 7 out of 10, was probably like 3 out of 10 now.
Yeah.
This thing feels really good.
Excellent.
Not been able to do that for a long time.
Cool. Then have a seat back there, and I'll finish telling you a story about these accounts. So we all returned the following week with our homework, and one by one he said, would you lend? We said, no, 20 no's. And then he stripped off the name, and I was looking at Lloyds Bank's balance sheet, my colleagues were looking at Barclays, Midlands, NatWest. We were all looking at the balance sheet of the bank we worked for. And we wouldn't lend money to them. Why not? Because they were a deck of cards waiting to collapse. You remember back, all right, the pound note used to say, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £1. And the money was supported by gold at the Bank of England. That's long since gone, guys. You're now being paid in bits of paper that are worthless. Yeah, and when we have a recession, let's go back to the 1930s, there was one of the biggest recessions we've known. All that happened is the people that print the money decided no more money for you. They stopped the amount of money in circulation. This was back before credit cards, back before overdrafts and loans. So they could stop printing banknotes, pull them back in, and leave not enough money for you for regular trade. And when that happens, what happens? If there's not enough money, people don't get paid, people can't pay their rent, buildings collapse, the buildings don't collapse, but businesses collapse. And those very wealthy people that were printing the money went and bought farms and businesses for a song. And then 1939 came, and with it the end of the recession, because we hit World War II. World War II? I've got the dates right, yeah. Anyway, And then they said, right, you can now have some money for machine guns, for tanks. And those same factories that had to close because there was no money for wages were doing 3 shifts. And somebody was getting very rich at the expense of war. Okay, now it's done on a different scale. You can still pull in the credit. It's happening in Ireland. You have a look at what's happening in Ireland. 10,000 homeless, including 4,000 kids. It was a company called Celebes. So some of the local banks, they sold their lending book to a company called Celebes. And Celebes put them all out on the streets, including 4,000 children. Yeah, things are afoot, guys, things are afoot. If you want to know more about that, I've got a little sheet at the back. Take one away with you and do your own research. Right, Ash, let's give that a go.
That knee feels almost strong unless I really lock it.
Yeah.
This knee. Pretty strong. It's like on both sides now, there's a tiny bit of pain
Yeah.
now where there was like quite a lot. Which is
Cool.
normally when if I bend it out like that, I can't do that normally.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
No, cool. I think you're fixed. I think you'll find as you sit in the audience that last little bit will just go.
Brilliant.
Give them a round of applause.